Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time visiting this channel, click on the subscribe button and smash the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you will get notified as soon as possible. Don't forget to like the video as well, right? Because once you like the video, also recommend the video to other YouTube viewers too as well, so don't forget to do that too. Yeah, so it's a new week as we normally do. Entering into a new week, we look through the pairs and see what the market has for us going into a new week. Yeah, last week was a very epic week for us. All right, it was very great. We were able to catch about 354 pips on the market last week. Yeah, so that tells you how epic last week was. All right, yes, I posted all the tweets in my Telegram community. So if you're not part of my Telegram community, check the description box below, click on the link and be part of my Flax Forex Telegram community. All right, here, make sure you watch through to the end, because in the end I'm going to show you how we caught 221 pips on GBPJPY. All right, yeah, so out of the 354 pips that we caught last week, we caught 221 pips on GBPJPY alone. All right, here, and I'm going to show you how simple the idea was, and that led me to call that amount of pips. Yeah, so let's go through the pairs and then see what the market has for us going into a new week. And so normally let's start with the dollar index and see what is happening on the dollar index. So the dollar index last week, we saw price around this area. All right, yes, we saw price around this area, and look at what has just happened. All right, this high hasn't been broken. All right, price failed to what has failed to break this high. All right, yeah, so for now I'm going to be bearish on DXTY, that is the dollar index, on a short term. All right, until this high is broken, I'm going to look forward for bearish prices. I want to see price move to the downside into this zone, all right, before we see a continuation to the upside. And so just as we can see here, we've seen a creation of a relative equal lows here, all right, of which once price failed to break this high, I will expect to see price come down, clear up this relative equal lows, tap into the zone, and before we see a continuation to the upside. All right, on a long term, the dollar index is still bullish. All right, the dollar index is still bullish, but I'll be looking for bearish sentiment short term so far as the dollar index is concerned. All right, yeah, so that is that for the dollar index. Let's look at what is happening on AUDUSD. Let's go what is happening AUDUSD. So for AUDUSD, if you're on my page, if you're on my Telegram page, I'm very sure you remember that I marked out the zone as my next liquidity grab. All right, here price definitely came to that zone to clear this, so this liquidity has been cleared. All right, but looking at how the price action was, it didn't really give us the chance to enter for a sell, because I was looking for an entry. I was expecting an entry, of which I didn't really have a feel or get that entry. So price moved in a direction, all right, but it didn't really give me the entry pattern I was expecting to see. All right, yeah, so it came here though, but we didn't partake in it, and that's normal. All right, that is normal in trades. That's normal. You see price moving in your direction, but you can't enter. Why? Because the entry, kind of entry technique, or the entry draw that you expect to see, you don't see it. All right, unlike other traders, once they see price moving in their direction, by price not giving them their entry drill or entry pattern, because it's moving in their direction, they try to enter. No, that is not how to react to the market as a trader. All right, you make sure price gives you your entry drill or entry pattern that gives you the confidence to enter into the market. All right, here, so that is just that on AUDUSD. And so going into next week, we are likely to see price move a little bit up, all right, into this imbalance you are seeing here. All right, there's an imbalance here, and then an order block in here. So going into next week, I want to see price move a little bit up, taking out this buy side liquidity, moving into this imbalance, then into this order block before we see price continuing to the downside. Remember, AUDUSD is still bearish on the long term. All right, AUDUSD is still bearish on the long term. I'm expecting to see price move to this zone before we see a continuation to the upside. And so going into next week, I want to see a short-term bullishness in AUDUSD before we see a continuation to the downside. So that is just that for AUDUSD. Just as I said, I want to see this buy stops being cleared, then into this imbalance and into this order block before we see a reversal or a continuation to the downside. So that is that for AUDUSD. Let's look at what is happening on USDCAD. Let's look at what is happening on USDCAD. So for USDCAD, I want to see price move to the downside to fill up this imbalance. USDCAD on the long term is bullish. All right, I'm bullish long term on USDCAD. I'm bullish long term on USDCAD. But going into next week, I'm expecting to see price move a little bit to the downside to fill up this imbalance and into this order block before we see a continuation to the upside. Remember, we are seeing a bullish order flow on USDCAD. All right, price is what is respecting the lows and then violating the highs. Yeah, so that tells us that we are in a bullish order flow so far as USDCAD is concerned. Yeah, so for USDCAD going into next week, I am bearish long term. All right, I'm still bearish long term. I want to see price move down a little bit into the zone, then I'll look for it to take some buys. All right, here. So just as I said, I'm bullish. Yeah, sorry, I'm bullish long term. I'm long term bullish on USDCAD, but on the short term, I'll be looking for for bearish prices. So let's switch to the 1 hour and see. All right, here. So this is the 1 hour time frame, and so I want to see price clear up this low completely. All right, I want to see price clear up this low completely, and then we see price come back to the zone, and then we see a run to the downside. So that is my expectation on USDCAD going into a new week. All right, that is my expectation on USDCAD going into a new week. Let's switch to EURAUD and see what is happening on EURAUD. Let's switch to EURAUD and see what is happening. Let's move to the daily. So on the daily time frame, EURAUD, it is really not so clear. All right, it is really not so clear. But if I'm to take this range, all right, this range low and this range high, I'll be looking forward to see price retrace a little bit. But let's look at the weekly and see if we can see something on the weekly. So this is the weekly. All right, price is still bearish. You are not seeing any bullish sentiment on a higher time frame so far as EURAUD is concerned. All right, we are still bearish. All right, we are still bearish because on the weekly time frame we are seeing an institutional bearish order flow playing out. All right, we've seen price respecting the highs and breaking the lows. That gives us the indication that price is still bearish on the higher time frame. All right, I'll only start looking for bullish prices long term if I see price break this high. All right, if this major high is being broken, then that is where I'll start looking for bullish prices on EURAUD. But for now, on the longer time frame, on the higher time frame, EURAUD still looks bearish. All right, EURAUD still looks bearish, but on a shorter time frame, I'm going to work within this range. All right, I'm going to work within this range. So working within this range, that means currently price is in a premium price is in a premium zone. All right, price is in a premium zone because it's above the 50% retracement level. Price above the 50% retracement level. So if price is in a premium zone, I'll be looking for selling prices short term. All right, I'll be looking to sell on a short-term basis. Let's move to the lower time frame and see. And so this low is going to be my area of focus. Once I'm looking for short-term bearishness, this low is going to be my area of focus. All right, let me delete this line here. Yeah, this low is going to be my short-term focus, in that if there should be a break in this low, then I'll be looking to target this low as well as this relative equal lows we are seeing here into this bearish candle we are seeing here. But let's move to the 1 hour time frame and see. Yes, so I'm looking forward to see price clear this low, then I'll enter for a sell. I wouldn't be expecting this bearish candle to hold price. All right, yes, I want to see price violate this candle, this bullish order block you are seeing here, and then you see price get into this area. All right, so once this low is being broken, my next draw on liquidity is going to be this zone and these zones too as well. All right, here, so that is my expectation on Euro AUD going into next week. Let's look at what is happening on EURCHF. Let's look at what is happening on EURCHF. For EURCHF, last week we lost a trade on this pair. Yeah, we lost a trade on this pair, and I mean that's very cool. That's very cool. So at the moment, this pair is also looking bearish. All right, EURCHF is still looking bearish. All right, but once you've seen a lower low has been created. All right, so in a bearish environment, we expect to see price make lower highs and lower lows. All right, yes, I'll take it again. In a bearish environment, you're always expecting to see price to make lower lows and lower highs, or lower highs and lower lows. All right, so that is on the perspective of what market structures. We're expecting to see price make lower highs and lower lows on a bearish environment, and in a bullish environment we expect to see price make higher lows and higher highs. All right, and in this market we are seeing a bearish order flow market, and so once in a bearish order flow we expect to see price make lower highs and lower lows, and currently we are seeing price made a lower low, and so the next phase is the lower high. All right, so the next phase is a lower high. So the sentiment of this market is currently bullish, but it's only going to change. It's only going to change if we see price break this high. All right, once this high is being taken, once this major high is being taken, then we are zooming into a bullish environment. All right, so going into next week, I'll expect to see price continue to move to the upside into the zone. All right, move to the upside into the zone, then we see price continue to push to the downside. I will only be looking for bullish prices if this zone is violated. Once this zone is violated, that is when I'll start looking for bullish prices. But at the moment, price still looks bearish. All right, price still looks bearish, and so I will expect to see price move a little bit up into this area. Let me take this one off. I will expect to see price move into this area, then I'll look forward bearish prices on EURCHF. Yeah, so that is just that for EURCHF. Let's look at what is happening on S&P 500. Let's look at what is happening on S&P 500. So for S&P 500, we are still seeing a bearish market. But going into next week, I wouldn't be surprised to see price move a little bit up. All right, move a little bit up into the zone. Let me take this one off. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if we see price move a little bit up into the zone, into this imbalance, then into this order block. All right, before we see a continuation to the downside. So going into next week, that is what I'll be expecting on S&P 500. All right, that is what I'll be expecting on S&P 500. Because look at what happened here. Before we saw this impulse move to the downside. We saw price moving, tapping into the what, into this other block we are seeing here. Then we saw price move to the downside, and so I'm expecting the same thing to repeat before we see a move to the downside, taking out these sell side liquidity. All right, take up these sell side liquidity or sell stops we are seeing here. So that is my expectation on S&P 500 going into next week. Let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq. Let's look at what is happening. So for Nasdaq, to similar plan. All right, same thing. All right, same price action too on Nasdaq. I want to see price move up into the zone. All right, I want to see price move up into the zone before we see a continuation to the downside. So going into next week, I'll be expecting some bullish prices on Nasdaq. All right, I'll be expecting to see some bullish prices on Nasdaq going into next week. So that is just that for Nasdaq. Let's look at GBPJPY. All right, here, let's look at GBPJPY. Let's look at GBPJPY. So last week, if you're on my channel, all right, if you're on my channel, I marked the zone. If you're on my Telegram channel, I intentionally marked this zone. That was, I think, around, it should be Thursday. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it should be Thursday. I intentionally marked this zone, and then those of you that got the message. All right, that was after I posted the sell signal. I marked this zone. Those of you that got the message really got the message. I was expecting to see price fill up this imbalance. All right, I was expecting to see price fill up this imbalance, and we are seeing exactly that happening. All right, but for GBPJPY on a long-term basis, I'm bullish. All right, I'm bullish on long-term basis, but for now, short-term, I'm bearish. All right, so just as I told you, we caught 221 pips on GBPJPY. Yeah, that was so massive. All right, and I'll quickly walk you through how I caught that pips, or the concept I use to catch that amount of pips. So let's move to the 30 minutes. Yeah, so this is the trade. All right, 221 pips. This is the trade. So this is what happened. This bearish candle that we are seeing here, sorry, bullish. All right, this is a rejection candle. This is a bullish rejection candle we are seeing. But before that, before this happened, what did we see here? We saw a consolidation. Then the next thing we saw was a run to the upside to clear up this buy side liquidity. All right, I've always told you. All right, I've always told you that when price is in consolidation, the next thing that you should expect to see after the consolidation is manipulation. All right, so that is the power of three: accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. All right, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And so once I saw the accumulation, which is the same as the consolidation in here, the next time we're expecting to see is manipulation. All right, and so the manipulation too was as a result of the CPI. All right, the CPI gave us this candle we are seeing here. The CPI gave us this rejection. It moved up to clear up all those buy stops we are seeing here. And the next move was, so once I saw this, I knew that definitely we are going to see a downside movement. All right, and let me show you. I posted this on my Telegram community. Let me quickly get to my Telegram community and then let you know. All right, let me quickly get to my Telegram community and let you know. Okay, let me quickly get to my Telegram community. Yes, and let you know. Yes, so this is it. All right, this is the trade. All right, so we took the sell at this zone. All right, and then we're targeting this low. We took the sell at this zone and we're targeting this low, and it did that beautifully. All right, it moved beautifully into our target. Yeah, so that is just that. All right, it moved beautifully into our target. That is this area. All right, which gave us 221 pips. All right, gives us 221 pips. I posted this on my Telegram community. All right, so whoever took this trade really made money. All right, whoever took this trade last week really made money. All right, so if you took this trade, you really made money last week. Yeah, and I mean that is just that. So going into next week on GBPJPY, I'm still expecting to see price move a little bit further to this area, all right, before we start seeing a continuation to the upside. All right, before we start seeing a continuation to the upside. Yeah, so that is just that for GBPJPY going into next week. All right, yeah, so that is just that for next week. This is what I'm really expecting to see on the market going into next week. If you're not part of my Forex Telegram community, just click on the link and then be part. Check the link in the description box. Click on it and be part of the Forex Telegram community. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, hit on the subscribe button and then smash the notification bell. And let me see your comments. All right, bring in your comments, like the video too as well. All right, yeah, so that is just that going into next week. Until I come your way again, stay safe. All right, stay safe. Next week, I forgot to make you aware. Next week is FOMC. Next week is FOMC. One of the crazy news releases. All right, next week is FOMC, and in times like this, crazy things happens in the market. All right, here, and so going into next week, I wouldn't be so much active on the market. All right, I wouldn't be so much active on the market. I'm going to be active Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, because I think the FOMC is Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to be active Monday and then Tuesday. All right, I will stay back on Wednesday. All right, I'll stay back on Wednesday, and then after the FOMC, I'll just look at the FOMC is going to give us a long-term perspective on the market. The FOMC is really going to give us a long-term perspective on the market. So I'll stay back on Wednesday. I'll not do anything on the market. All right, if I take a trade on Monday, Tuesday, I'll make sure Tuesday New York close, I'm going to close all the trades. All right, and sit back and observe how the FOMC is going to react on the market. All right, then I'll hop in again the following day, which is Thursday. All right, yeah, so that is just that going into next week. All right, stay safe and I'll come your way again another time.